While federal and state laws form the foundation of fair housing protections, it is equally important to understand that several cities in Arizona have gone beyond these laws by enacting local ordinances that add additional protected classes. These local fair housing laws reflect each community's recognition of its diverse population and commitment to expanding equal housing opportunities. Real estate professionals must be aware of these local ordinances because they can vary from one city or municipality to another, and failure to comply may result in both local penalties and state-level disciplinary action. Under ARS Section 322153, for engaging in discriminatory or dishonest conduct. The Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968 and the Arizona Civil Rights Act, ARS Section 41-1491 at ECQ, prohibit housing discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. However, certain Arizona cities, recognizing the importance of inclusivity and the changing needs of their residents, have enacted ordinances that add sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, marital status, age, ancestry, and veteran or military status as protected classes. These local ordinances strengthen anti-discrimination efforts by ensuring that every person, regardless of background, identity, or personal circumstance, can obtain housing on an equal basis. One of the earliest cities in Arizona to expand protections was Tucson, which passed a human relations ordinance prohibiting housing discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, familial status, marital status, and ancestry. Under the Tucson City Code, Chapter 17, Article 2, it is unlawful for any person to deny a housing opportunity, set different rental terms, or misrepresent the availability of housing to any individual based on these characteristics. For example, a landlord in Tucson cannot refuse to rent to a same-sex couple or impose different rental terms on a transgender tenant. The Tucson Office of Equal Opportunity Programs is responsible for enforcing this ordinance, investigating complaints, and ensuring compliance through mediation or penalties. The city of Phoenix followed a similar path with its Human Relations Ordinance. Phoenix City Code, Chapter 18, Article 5. Phoenix law prohibits discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations based on race, color, religion, sex, age, disability, national origin, and sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, and veteran or military status. This means, for example, that a landlord cannot deny a rental application from a military veteran or post an advertisement stating adults only without violating the ordinance. The Phoenix Equal Opportunity Department investigates and enforces complaints and can impose civil penalties for violations, including fines and orders to cease discriminatory practices. Tempe is another Arizona city with expanded protections under its anti-discrimination ordinance. Tempe City Code, Chapter 2, Article 8. The ordinance includes sexual orientation, gender identity, and U.S. military veteran status among its protected classes. Tempe's law covers housing, employment, and public accommodations, and the Tempe Diversity Office handles enforcement. For instance, a property owner in Tempe may not deny housing to a same-sex couple or display advertisements that suggest a preference for tenants of a specific gender identity. Other municipalities, including Flagstaff, Scottsdale, and Sedona, have also enacted ordinances that extend fair housing protections to additional classes. Flagstaff's Ordinance Number 2012-02, for example, prohibits discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and familial status, and it is enforced through the city's Equal Opportunity Program. In Scottsdale, the City Council passed its Anti-Discrimination Ordinance, Ordinance Number 4431, in 2021, expanding protections to include sexual orientation and gender identity in housing, employment, and public accommodations. It is essential for real estate licensees to be familiar with these local variations because the scope of protection in one jurisdiction may differ from another. A real estate professional operating in multiple Arizona cities must adhere to the most inclusive standard to remain compliant across jurisdictions. For example, a broker representing clients in both Phoenix and Mesa must ensure that their advertising and tenant screening policies comply with Phoenix's broader protections, even if Mesa has not enacted equivalent ordinances. The Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, expects all licensees to remain informed about the local laws where they conduct business. Under Commissioner's Rule R4-28-1101, licensees are required to treat all parties to a transaction fairly and without discrimination. Violating a local fair housing ordinance could be viewed by the department as a violation of this rule, leading to disciplinary measures such as license suspension or revocation. Local ordinances do more than expand the list of protected classes. They reinforce the importance of professionalism, cultural competence, and ethical practice in real estate. Understanding and applying these broader protections help licensees serve all clients equitably, foster inclusive communities, and reduce the risk of legal exposure. Review summary. In addition to federal and state fair housing laws, many Arizona cities have enacted local ordinances that provide additional protected classes. These may include sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, marital status, age, ancestry, and veteran or military status. Cities such as Phoenix, Tucson, Tempe, Flagstaff, Scottsdale, and Sedona enforce these ordinances through local equality offices and civil rights departments. Real estate professionals must understand and comply with the most inclusive standards in any area where they practice. Failure to do so may lead to violations of both local ordinances and ADRE regulations under R4-28-1101. These local laws strengthen Arizona's overall fair housing framework by promoting inclusivity and equality for all residents. Discussion. Why have some Arizona cities enacted fair housing ordinances beyond state and federal law? Answer. To expand protections for groups not covered by federal or state statutes, reflecting local commitment to diversity and inclusion. What are some examples of additional protected classes under local Arizona ordinances? Answer. Sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, marital status, age, ancestry, and veteran or military status. How should a real estate professional handle transactions in areas with different local fair housing ordinances? Answer. By following the most inclusive and protective standard among all applicable jurisdictions to ensure full compliance. Closing remarks. Local fair housing ordinances across Arizona demonstrate a growing recognition that equality in housing must reflect the diversity of the communities being served. For real estate professionals, awareness of these expanded protections is not just a legal duty, but a moral and professional one. Practicing inclusivity protects clients, promotes social equity, and strengthens the public's trust in the real estate profession. By understanding and adhering to both state and local fair housing laws, licensees contribute to a more just and welcoming Arizona for all residents.